Hey guys, it's South African Chris here from New Zealand. Hope you're doing well. Today is the 16th of December, in New Zealand at least. So we're going to run through another episode of today's top stocks. And it works out nicely because I do that way ahead of the open market time in the US. So if I click on my live data feature here in MI Pro or Market Investor Pro, which is my own software, you'll see that we've got 10 hours left till the market opens. Right, we'll get to tomorrow's stocks in a bit. First, let's just talk about what happened yesterday. Now, in my portfolio here, we can see open trade. So I've made some adjustments to the program. So it's always under continuous development, by the way. And it helps me to track and plan and analyze my day trade strategies and sometimes swing trade strategies. Which stocks I'm going to buy, what target profit level I should set, what stop loss price I should set, and I rely heavily on technical indicators and not so much on the fundamentals, although they do from time to time play a role. Now, we'll talk about that in a bit, and you'll see some of the features that I'm using here. If you're interested in using the software, just drop me a message in the comments below. Like the video, subscribe, all of the stuff, and I'll share it with you, and you can use that. The price is $5 a month, so it's almost nothing, and that is so that I can buy myself a cup of coffee from time to time. Okay, now let's look at what happened yesterday. So I still have some open trades here. e12 Corporation currently running a profit. It's not too bad, and we need to track that and check what's happening. So if we click on the current indicators, we'll be able to see where we're at, and what we want to look at is where the stochastics level is. So we can see it's reaching this top here to overbought, and that's when we want to sell. Remember, we want to sell when it's overbought and we want to buy when it's oversold. Okay, and the way we identify when we are in either of those time periods is looking at the stochastics. That's an indicator that helps us to do that. So at the bottom here, I've got a level of 30, and at the top a level of 70. When it's near or below 30, we're hitting oversold. When we close to the 70 line here at the top, this magenta line, then we're close to overbought. So I would say by tomorrow, this should be ready to sell, unless this escalates quite a bit today, which is possible. So I therefore have a stop loss and a target profit already set up. So this software is not a brokerage software. You don't actually buy the stocks through this platform. I use Tiger Trade, which is a stock that allows me to buy and sell stocks from the US, although I'm not a US citizen, so I can do that here from New Zealand. There are other platforms too. I use Thinkorswim from time to time, but I like Tiger Trade, and that's the one that I use, and I'm not paid to say that. Okie dokie. So yes, so we'll keep a track on that, and as you can see here on Infi, we've got a target profit of $159.53. We're currently not too far away from that, and then we've got a stop loss set at $148.12. Now what I like to do is once we have a positive trend or a bullish trend and we start to increase the profits, I like to then step up that stop loss a little bit. So what I will do once I'm done here is I'm going to adjust all of those stop losses to set them a bit higher, which means we can only go higher, we won't go lower, so that we reduce the risk of losing money. Now, I've also got a couple of settings set up here to help me identify position sizing and automatic calculation of target profits and stop losses in the software, and this uses my cash value, which is a accumulation of cash from previous months of trading. So what you see here is only December. If we want to look at November, I'll switch to the November view, and here we can see trades that was performed in November. The greens are wins and the reds are losses, so that's kind of how it works. Open trades are carried forward to the next month, and once we're above the maximum loss value that we've set here, which is a percentage of the total cash value, it'll highlight sales in red, the whole line, and when it's in profit, the same. You won't see them here because once they do, obviously my target profits or my stop losses kick in, and then I update my sheet accordingly. And there goes the phone. Okay, I'm back. Right, so what was I saying? I was saying that things get highlighted when it's wins and losses, and I set that up in my settings. Okie dokie. So continuing on from that, let's continue looking at some of the technical indicators here for our current running stocks and where we're at. So CMI, we'll just wait for this to load. So CMI at the moment, we've got a target profit there of 246 and a stop loss of 246.31 cents and a stop loss of 213.45 cents. Same thing, not quite up there yet in the stochastic, so we'll let that run for a little bit. Now, I will keep this somewhere out of view while we do this. Now, there's some that I did close today, so the ones that are open, right? I did close a few, one or two today. You'll see there's today's date on the closing one, which is 16th, and it's, in gray so that it doesn't stand out as much, so we can see they closed. But I closed this one. Although it hasn't reached the top, it has reached a target profit, right? So we've reached our target profit here. Boston Properties. It did not reach the profit. The profit, the 2R value that we want to reach. But I closed this one, two reasons. I was a little bit low on cash, right? And I wanted to free up some of that. Plus, I thought that at this stage, I'd rather take the profit that I've got over 5 days. So I don't usually like to have these extend for too long. You'll see some here like 11 days or 20 days. It's not great to have the cash tied up for that long. It's not part of my strategy. And looking at the ATR and some of the other indicators, I wasn't sure whether this is going to continue going up. So I thought we'll take a profit there. It's not a bad level where it was at. Another one that I closed here was Discovery. So on this one we made a loss, and that was set at our stop loss. So we had a stop loss at $28.29, and they closed at $28.72, but they hit a low. You'll see it here at 27.91, so that was below our stop loss. So that kicked in, and we lost a little bit of money there. That's okay. It's the cost of business. It happens. As long as we have more wins than losses by the end of the month. And so far, we're looking okay. You can see from the totals there at the top, and for the closed trades and for the open trades, we're still in the positive. Not as great as last month, I'll be honest, but I did lose a week due to illness, and I'm trying to catch up by pushing a lot of trades, but we have to be careful. All right, and then some of these that I've marked in green are the ones that I haven't closed yet, but I'm a little bit weary of them. And the reason for that is, and I'll just select this one here. So this is AMP. And the reason I've marked this one as potentially risky is that we've had a bearish trade day yesterday. So that's the red candle we see there. But that's not the only reason. The thing that concerns me is that it looked like there was a turnaround in the stochastics, right? But it wasn't. It went back down again. And that could dip down and eventually dip up. It's not ideal. So what I've done instead is I said, okay, it's all right to lose $28.13 in the bigger scheme of things, but let's lift that stop loss. So you'll see I've currently set it at 187. It was something else. It was lower, but I've lifted that a little bit and say let's not drop below that. So that gives us a bit of play. And then if something bad happens, to that stock and it continues trending down, then we just cut our losses there. On this one also, Intuit Incorporated, so we can see the stochastics doesn't look too bad, so we keep the trade open, but on the MACD it's doing duck face, right? Can you see that? So there is the top and there's the bottom. It's doing duck face, which means there could be an intersection of that blue MACD line with the red signal line, which is usually not good. Also, I see a bit of a downtrend there on the RSI. It could bounce off of this midline like it's done before, but it's highlighted so we can keep an eye on it. And I've again lifted that stop loss so that it's a bit closer to where we're currently at, so we minimize the risk there a little bit. And I've done that with a few other trades here as well, and that's why they're marked in green. Another cool thing that I've built in is when I buy stocks, the way this works is you select your symbol, and if you don't have a symbol there, or one that's not represented there, you can search for them. So let's search for a stock here, let's say NEO, right? So you can either search for the name and scroll down until you find it, or you can type the symbol here and it will then list it for you. And when I double click on it, it'll add it to my watch list. Okay, so once it's in my watch list, I can then go and add the current selected symbol as a trade, and what this little tool does is whether I buy or sell, it will then calculate the quantity based off my total cash value and those parameters that I set, and it will then also get the current cost, the most recent trade price from Yahoo Finance. It will calculate the target price, the stop loss, and it will tell me what the ATR is also. And it's always good that our difference between cost and the profit, in other words, I mean the target price, the difference, the profit, is within the ATR, right? Because the average true range tells us what the volatility of that stock is more or less over a couple of days. And we want to be close to that or within that if we could. In this case we are, for both obviously the target price and the stop loss. But if I change this to some other value like 700, you'll notice it'll update. So it'll tell me my current range is 72.95 while the ATR is 32.9, and it'll just give me a little warning. It'll still allow me to trade, just saying, hey, this is not the best. And if I click on this button, it'll recalculate those for me. If I hit the H button on some trades when I'm not sure, when I say, it's a 50-50 trade, this one really, I'm not too confident of it, but I also don't want to skip it, then what I do is I reduce the risk by halving my quantity, but also lowering then the target price and the stop loss. So when I click on half here, you'll see those values will drop, and we'll reduce this to 9, which means less profit if it goes well, but also less of a loss if it goes bad. Okie dokie. Now, that's yesterday's trades. So not looking too terrible, looking quite good. In fact, the ones that we closed here, some of them good profit. So just to recap those, on the 16th here, we've got Boston Properties. There was some profit made here, $444. And then there was another one closed here, which was not really a lot of good news. It was a bit of a loss, but that's not too terrible. We had the stop loss in place, so that's okay. And then of course there's our open trades, which currently gives us a positive balance of $641.93. Okay, now I want to look at trades that we want to do today. Now if I hit my stock finder here, I can set my minimum close value, my last close maximum value, a volume greater than, and then some values for the stochastics. And I want to see stacked EMAs and SMAs for the EMA 18, EMA 50, EMA 100, and SMA 150 and SMA 200. And the reason I want that is that indicates to me a bullish pattern. If it was a bearish market, I'd hit the bearish one, or you can choose to ignore that and just run with some of the others. And a minimum ATR of 5. So when I hit find, it's going to scan through all of the stocks in the stock market, 7,223 of them, and it will start listing them here for me, and at which point I will then review each of them, and I will shortlist the ones that I want by adding them to my watch list, and then from the watch list we will finally review them and decide which ones we're going to buy and which ones we're going to watch. Now, while that's running, I'll also just point out that there are some stocks here in green, which was added to the watch list yesterday, but they didn't really have that turnaround on the stochastics where we can see that it's coming from oversold, heading back up to that bottom 30 line again. So it dips below it, and we want to see it coming back. When it makes that comeback, that's when we want to buy. So they weren't quite ready yet, but they might be today, and we'll have a look at that. And those ones are AMD, BA, Boeing. I'll talk about these three in a minute. PDD and QCOM. Right, those are the ones that we want to check whether they're ready today. PSTH, CIIC, and SPLK were stocks that is on my watch list because they were suggested by the Zip Trader. So I'll leave a link in the description, but Zip Trader also posts lots of videos frequently about top 3 stocks of the week, and he was talking about fairly new companies that he sees a large potential profit, in fact double profit. And I don't usually trade that way. That can be called fundamental trading, but I've been watching them just to see what happens to those stocks. It's always good to do. So anyway, I'm gonna come back as soon as we've scanned through all of these, make myself a cup of coffee, and I'll see you in a second. And I'm back. Alright, so let's have a look at this. Here we've got 35 stocks. There's quite a lot of them. Now, the way this works is we just double click on a stock. It'll add it to my watch list, and it will then automatically open up in a second the technical indicators for that stock. So here we go. We've got ANET, so Arista Networks, Here we can see whether we've had any, it detects patterns in the candles, so we can see the date there's the 3rd of December. It's not very recent, but it did say bullish, so that was, let's just look here, that was here, right? So that was bullish, and yes, we can see a bullish action there, but since then, you know, it's went a bit down and then a bit up again, so that's out of date. ADX, so it's telling us that this is a strong trend. The ADX is a very good indicator, telling you whether a trend is strong or weak or just very strong. And then there's some other indicators there telling us what the consensus is on buying and selling. We can't purely rely on those. We still have to do our own analysis. So we can see that it's not too far away from the EMA, because what happens is if it's far away from the EMA, it tends to snap back a little bit. So that's looking good. Stochastics is perfect. MACD is bullish because the blue is above the red. The RSI is looking good. Everything is looking good here. I'm going to add this to the watch list, and I'll probably buy a net. So next one, what was that? I didn't check. Oh, ASML already on the watch list. So once this open up, I'll just close it. Well, let's keep it there. Let's see. So yes, ready. On the stochastics, everything looking good. We'll buy this one today also. Okay, so keep it in the watch list. Yes, and we'll just, unless I already bought it, let's just see. I might have actually done that. ASML. Oops, we've got it. Okay, so that's why it's in blue. I forgot my own color coding here because I built it in recently. Blue means it's already in play. Green means it's on, you know, need to watch carefully. And the other ones is just kept there in my watch list. Okie dokie. BlackRock Finance, BLK, I had this one on my list. I removed it again yesterday because I don't want to play that one at this stage. It wasn't looking too great. CHTR, so Charter Communications. Let's have a look at this one quick. So bit bearish action here. It's got a weak trend, looking terrible in the stochastics, and we've got a crossover here on the MACD, which is obviously recent. So if it's within the past 5 days, usually it's a no, and we can see a downward trend there on the RSI. So no, thank you, not at this stage. Right, I'm going to go through the rest, and I will talk to you again once I've got a list of final options available. Okay. Okay, and I'm back. Right, so I've run through these. There are a whole bunch of them. First, we'll start with the ones that's highlighted so we can see whether we should buy them. And we'll look at the current indicators. So first here we've got AMD. We can see this one has done really, really well. I thought I did buy the stock. Seems like I didn't. Damn. Okay. A little bit too late in the game now, I'd say, to buy. So just want to make sure I didn't buy AMD. I really didn't. Okay. That was an oversight. Oopsie. I'm going to remove it from my list because no point in going into it now. It's a bit late. Let's look at Boeing. Okie dokie. So on Boeing, we can see that doji candle there. We can see it's not turned around yet on the stochastics, but bullish momentum there on the MACD, looking not too terrible on the RSI and the ATR. We'll give this a bit more time and see if that turns around in the stochastics. All right. Let's go to the next one here. Pindua, whatever, PDD. Okay, so no current patterns, no turnaround yet, so not ready. Qualcomm. Oh, this one we can't view yet. There's not enough information to build up the stochastics and the historical data. Okay, ANET is one that we said we wanted to look at, so let's look at this one. Right, looking good. No current patterns really. There was one on the 3rd saying that it's bullish, but this was over here, and indeed it was a bit bullish, so that means it's not wrong. Turn around on the stochastics, not too bad on the MACD, everything looking good. The RSI looking like it's trending upwards, so we're going to trade this one for sure. Right, so we'll add trade. My cash is a little bit low because I've got too many open stocks at the moment, so I'm going to halve all of them so that I can play a little bit more. So we can see here there's a warning on the target price. It's above the ATR, which is 6.83, minus double that. So first I'm going to halve my investment, and then I'm going to reduce the, let's see, 6.83 on top of the 279. So that seems good. That seems good. Okay, so we're currently below that. So the ATR is 6.83. We're on 3.42. I think we can easily hit that, and our stop loss. So let's go for this one. I think this would be a good play. Reducing the risk there significantly. Okie dokie. Next lady for a shave. So ECL, Ecolab. Excuse me, because we already have CMI. Let's look at the current one there. And let's see what this looks like. Not the greatest history on the candles, but looking quite sharp turnaround here, which means it's heading up quick. We can see there's a pattern, 3 black crows from the 14th saying it's bearish, so we need to be wary of that. Looks like a bit of an uptrend here on the RSI, but we could see it flattening out again, and either pushing down or continuing this uptrend. It's a little bit of a risky one at this stage. I'm going to highlight it so that I review it again, and let's first look at some of the other stocks. So we've got ESTC here. Let's look at that one. Open that up. Okay, so quite far away from the EMA, which means it could snap back, and it hasn't turned around yet, so not good timing at this stage. Let's look at 5 below. I forgot that I changed the tech indicator, so I don't have to open and close it the whole time. I can just select and it will update. Anyway, I'm building in so many features so quickly that I forget a bunch of them. Right, so no current patterns, not turned around yet. We'll keep it in play. Oh, not in play, we'll just keep it on the watch list. Sorry. Vale Resorts, let's have a look at this one. So again, we can see that's bullish yesterday. There's a pattern double top, it says bearish, so we need to keep that in mind. Not yet ready on the stochastics, so we'll leave that one for now. Okay, Cuervo Incorporated. So there was a bearish pattern on the 11th, but it could be that that's dipped and heading back up again despite the little bit of a bearish candle from yesterday. We can see a turnaround there, but it dipped quite far below, and there's a semi-duck face forming. I don't like the duck faces, but then the rest is looking pretty good. So I'm gonna mark this one as well because we might decide to buy that one depending on this last one here. So let's look at United Rentals. Okay, looking pretty good, looking pretty good, looking pretty good, looking pretty good, good. Okay, we're gonna buy this one. So let's go add a trade. I'm going to go full in on this one. So what is the ATR there? Minus at 11.65. They're saying ATR at 7.78. So the nice thing about this tool is I can type in manually, so we can go 248 and we can see where we are. So if we go 247 or 246, that puts us just below there. So let's go to 46.50. Okay, as our target profit, and let's reduce the stop loss a little bit. So what I'm going to do here is if we put this at 233, and on ANET the current oh sorry, this is not ANET. I didn't check what this one's open was at the moment. Oh, 238.98. Sorry, it's right there in front of me. So let's put this one here at 235. All right. And we can see the difference there on the ATR and the my range. Okay, and let's record this one. So reducing the risk there a little bit, trying to not lose money, and then also reducing that profit high, less profit, but also less risk, right? And then we said it's between Ecolabs and Cuervo. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Ecolabs, and I'm going to head over here. I don't have a lot of cash left, so what I might do is let's just view that one again. I'm still between a rock and a hard place on this one. It's turning around quite well here. I think we should go for this one. Yes. So I'm going to add this one. So we go Ecolab. We're going to halve this definitely, and then we're going to reduce this further. So we're close to the ATR, but let's set this at 227, right? And then also let's reduce the stop loss here, or increase it. Actually, it's at 221.7 at the moment. So let's place this here at 219 flat. Okay, and we'll record that as our last trade for the day. And that pretty much makes me broke, or almost. Okay, and that is it for today. So let's just recap what stocks were recorded today. So today's ones was ANET, URI, and ECL. those are my top stocks for today. Remember, I'm using my own developed trading strategy, which was adapted from another one that is available on YouTube if you want to look into it, by an individual called Adam Khoo, Khoo. I've used his strategy along with some others, and I've developed my own over time. And this is what works for me. It might not work for you. The stock market is very risky and dangerous. Keep that in mind. You need to do your own research, and you need to know what you're doing, and you need to do your own analysis. Hit the like button, please subscribe and follow so that you can be made aware when new videos are posted. I try to do them daily, and thank you for your support, and I hope you have a great day. Trade safe. Cheers.